A Delaware church is headed to court accused of not thoroughly investigating complaints against a pastor who later raped a girl. The attorney for the rape victim says the church could have prevented the crime, but church officials say they had no control. 10 TV's Jennifer Jarrell has the details from both sides from our Delaware County Bureau.
We're not showing the face of this rape victim who says 5 years after the crime, she often still thinks about that day in her church pastor's office.
Like 2 to 3 times a week, the whole day will replay in my head again. And I'm afraid of the dark, to be by myself.
Back in 2008, Brian Williams was convicted of raping the then 15-year-old girl while he was serving as senior pastor at Grace Brethren Church in Sunbury. But the attorney for the rape victim says the incident 5 years ago wasn't his first. The negligence suit alleges that in the early 90s, while Williams was serving as youth pastor at Delaware Grace Brethren Church, he put his hand down the back of a 16-year-old girl's overalls. And in 2002, he's accused of saying inappropriate things to an 18-year-old woman at his church office.
That's highly inappropriate conduct. He has no business being a youth pastor if he's going to engage in that kind of conduct.
Today, the pastor at Delaware Grace Brethren told 10 TV Williams left in 2004 to start the church in Sunbury. But in court documents, the victim's attorney says despite not being an employee, he was still receiving financial support from the church. The woman Williams is convicted of raping says she wishes he had been fired years earlier.
Well, if he would have been stopped, then he would have never had his own church, and then it would have never happened.
The trial gets underway tomorrow morning in Delaware County Common Pleas Court. The rape victim tells us she will take the stand. Reporting in Delaware County, Jennifer Jarrell, 10 TV News.
As for Williams, he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of sexual battery. He is currently serving 8 years in the Chillicothe Correctional Institution. Today, the current pastor of Delaware Grace Brethren Church released a statement. It reads, in part, "While we are deeply saddened over the crimes committed and are asking God to bring healing to the victim and her family, we are convinced that Delaware Grace had no connection to Brian's criminal activity."